Just because I get nervous, I'm going to just look at that record button one more time. Okay, awesome.
It's recording. You can see it in the top left.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Marie, are you going to check the attendance?
Yes, I'll check attendance, and just as a reminder to everyone in the room, and I'll probably do another reminder in a minute, if you could mute your microphones when you're not speaking, that would help to reduce feedback and background noise, and we will help facilitate question answering. If you've got a question, feel free to just type it into the group chat.
Okay, so thank you all for coming. My name is Ann Quinn, and I have some information on the slide here. This is where the first bullet, this is where you will log into Canvas. And that would include the training we've provided, the templates, your sandbox, and of course the courses that you're going to teach. This is our eLearn Help email, and also on this session we have Truck and Gerardo. They're on the help team. Another person, Daniel, is on the team. He's not on this meeting right now. And then Marie Martin, my supervisor, who's over academic services. And then NetID, this last one, is the way that you log into, to log into Canvas. And so Rexanne Gerber is the contact person for that. So let's get started with something fun. So let's try to access your chat. We are in Zoom right now. So if you roll down to the bottom of your screen, you should be able to see chat. Let's stop sharing for a second, get my chat. So I'd like you to tell me, one benefit of being at home is that I got a free haircut from my 9-year-old, so save some money there. I'd like you to type in chat something that has been good about working from home or being home. So push your mouse down to the bottom. You're going to see the chat icon and click on that. And then just type in. Another thing is I don't have to pay for gas anymore. Saving on gas. I'll type that in. Free haircut. Marie exercises on her lunch breaks. Good for you. Traffic. Spending more time with my dog and your husband. I know you put your dog first and then your husband. So save on lunches, definitely. Cooking. Buketta's cooking more. Routine checks for my full. Yeah, it's true. Spending time with the family. A couple people mentioned that. It's sort of hard but good. The plants get watered. Fewer distractions. I don't have small children. And time to read. We finished 3 novels. Wow, Ryan, that's wonderful. Yeah, I'm trying to exercise a stretch. But it's funny, you know, I think even like our building was a 5-story building, and you just walk up the stairs down the street. It's more sedentary, but if you save on your commute time, you can kind of switch that with exercise. So let's get started. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share Canvas. Launch Canvas.
Just a reminder to mute your microphone. Juliana, can you mute your microphone? There we go. Yeah, everyone just mute their microphone to help reduce background noise and feedback.
Okay. So I'm logging into Canvas. What I'm going to show you, so I shared with you the location. Oh my goodness. And I'm going to show you the training that you all have access to. It's called Teaching with Canvas at UCR Extension. And that will cover everything that we covered today. So you can certainly take notes if you want to, or you can go back to your training. Oh my goodness, I'm just trying to get into Canvas. There we go. So I'm having to do, I have to do the same login sequence that you do. It's funny, I was in Canvas earlier, so I thought I was good. Sometimes I'm not sure. So usually it's once a day that I have to do the login. All right. So I'm going to go into, so let's look at this, all this good stuff. So I'm going to share with you my dashboard in Canvas, again, at that URL that I mentioned. This is your dashboard. See on the left, this is your global navigation. It's kind of a steel blue color. And then these are the courses. They're displayed with these little pictures with thumbnails. Once you go into a course, such as this one, which is your training, you're going to get another menu, which is white. And these items only pertain to that course. So let's look at a couple things. One is my account. So this is for you, everything related to you. And this is where you can set your picture, you can do your notifications, etc. This is something I like to show people. So the default is dashboard, which is a pictorial view of your courses. If you prefer lists, you can click on courses and it will display it. But my favorite is click on courses and then I click on all courses. And if you have any courses that have ended and Canvas calls them concluded, they will display. Sometimes we get questions, oh, I can't find my course. If it's ended, it will show at the bottom. We'll always have access to it. Okay, so let's look at, I want to take you into our template. To kind of explain to you the template. So what we did, so I've only been at UCR Extension, I've been here since summer. And so I've been helping with the Canvas conversion. And so we wanted to have a consistent template. And I think it's been good because students have the same experience and it kind of helps instructors to know where to put things, where we want to put things. So if I go into the template, now you never ever need to go into the template. You will see it on your dashboard, but what you would do is you would import it into an empty shell. What does that mean? Well, as soon as you're signed up to teach a course, we have this giant database and we have a team that lists all the courses and who's teaching and so forth. That feeds into Canvas. Canvas then makes an empty course for you. It's a course, but there's nothing in it. Then my team comes in, we import the template, which we see right here with the little pictures on it. Okay. Then there's 3 possible conditions. You've never taught the course before or never taught in an online format and don't have significant, online content, in which case we'll give you the template and you need to add the content. Second condition is you taught in Moodle, which was our prior learning management system. And then we will import the template and bring in your Moodle course. The third condition is you already taught in Canvas and then we will import it over for you. You can do these things before we do if you want. We kind of do it, we do a whole report and we kind of work through and we go along from the start of the term, like, at least a month before and start working through. So if you want to get a head start, you can email me and say, hey, I really need to work on my course. Can you import it? Or you can do it yourself. Even though I'm showing you the template, you should not go into the template. You go into your empty course and import the template. Hopefully that makes some sense. And if you want to add questions to chat, Truck on the team is going to be monitoring the chat and he can kind of interrupt me. I'm not seeing you right now, Truck. I don't know if I can move your picture. Or you can just speak up, Truck, if you find a question. Okay, so what is a template? So this template, it's a course. It's a Canvas course. Pretty much everything in Canvas is a course. And it has 2 basic things, a home page and modules. So you are looking at the home page. So the home page has a little bit of text, some pictures. And then what I want to do is I want to walk through how to populate these things. So this is our home page. And the other component that I mentioned is the modules. Modules is one of the Canvas tools, and it is your one-stop shop for the student to walk through the course. Okay, this is a little support modules at the top, and then it goes through week 1, week 2, week 3, everything in chronological order. What we do is we actually disable these other tools, which means You can make content in them, but you must bring them into modules. So I'll show you that. We've had some teachers that make assignments, but they don't bring them in modules so students can't see it. The reason we do this is so that the student just goes one place to get everything they need in chronological order, okay? So let's go back to that home page, and you can type any questions in chat. So we're gonna start here with the home page, and we're gonna populate the 3 buttons on the bottom once they display. The first one is called About Your Instructor. So I'm gonna click on it. And this is just a page. So Canvas has all these tools, okay? They show up on the left, modules, syllabus, grades, da-da-da. Aha. This is a page. We know it's a page because it has this silly little bar next to it. You can also see the word pages at the top. It tells us where we are. We've had some cases of teachers who use the wrong tool for the wrong job in a couple cases. So hopefully this will help you know, oh, I'm in a page. This is your About Your Instructor page. What we'd like you to do is add your picture, add your name, and add a little mini professional biography that relates to your course. I had one teacher say, oh yeah, I'm a mom and I have 2 kids and I live in Orange County. I think, oh, that's so nice, but you know, why are you teaching me, right? I want to know what your credentials are and tell me about why you love your field or whatever you want to say. The picture can be casual, it can be formal. And then here, do you have office hours? If not, you can erase this. Do you want to provide your phone number? Do you want to provide your email? Okay. So when we work with a page, we always click on this little edit button. You see that it's a pencil. So I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to find a picture. So if you think of Canvas, the Canvas universe, the stuff that you're going to add, we think of like 2 categories. Things that are online and things that are on your desktop. So online things would include things such as Google Docs, TED Talks, YouTube, stuff like that, that you're linking out to. The things on your desktop include the more traditional desktop applications such as Word, PowerPoints, graphics. Canvas likes it when you take those, wherever they are, like someone emails you something, you download it to your hard drive, okay? So those desktop tools you have to download to your hard drive. They're on the hard drive. We're going to put them in Canvas files, and then we can send them out to all the things that that you want your students to access. So we're doing a graphic. I want to show what I look like. Okay, that's a graphic. It has to be on my hard drive. I have to put it in files, and then I link it here to this page. Okay, so we're doing. So let me click on the graphic icon. And by the way, this is called the Rich Content Editor. You're going to see this over and over again on almost every tool. You're going to see it in announcements, syllabus, what else? Assignments, discussions. So once you get familiar with these formatting options and so forth, you'll feel like it's like, you know, oh, I already know this. Even though you're seeing it new in a new tool, you say, oh yeah, okay, I have bolding and all this stuff. One of your icons in this content editor is the little graphic icon, okay? It's like a little mountain with a sun. I'm gonna click on that, and I'm gonna go find a graphic and put it in files, okay? So I'm gonna click on the Canvas tab. I'm gonna click on Course Files, that's where I'm putting it. I click on Upload a File, and now I gotta go find it. Let's see. I think I have a nice picture in here. Let's find it. That's my little girl working on, oh, some embarrassing things here, working on the Rose Parade. I think I have something good. Let's see. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Too much stuff. Oh, I know. I'm going to do this one. This is some of my family members. We'll pick that one. Now that's awfully casual. I probably would have done something a little more formal, but I'm gonna make you watch me search all day. Okay, so I have that. And now every time I do something, I search for the little yellow save button at the lower right. Every time you do something, so you're going to be saving a lot. And for those of you who have gotten in the habit of using Google Docs or a lot of online versions of things, you don't have to save anymore. You just kick back and it does it. Don't be lulled into false security. Every time you do something in Canvas, you must save. The tricky part is the word is not always the same. You're going to see the word save, update, post, add item. Right here it's called update, but it's still a yellow button in the lower right. All right, and there's my picture. That came in pretty well. Sometimes it comes in really huge. So this is my picture. Now, since I'm in Zoom, your faces are all over where I need to be. Okay. Now, what am I going to do? I wonder if there's a, well, first we're going to give my name. Huh? Someone want to answer? Okay, what do you, you can just call out. I'm going to give my mini biography, blah, blah, blah. You just call out. What do you think I would do now? Does anyone want to call out?
Complete
Okay.
everything in the contact information.
You enter the, good. You enter the contact information. Blah, blah, blah. Enter my email. So, well, I don't have office hours. They can call me anytime. Okay. I'm going to click that yellow button. If there's something in the template, some text that you're not using, you must delete it. And I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to go back to my home page because we are populating the buttons on the home page. Okay. The next one, it's a little slow today, is the syllabus. Let's wait for it to come up. Okay. So here's the syllabus. I'm going to click on it. You'll also see it over here. It's the same thing. It's kind of like a page, but it has some extra goodies here, which I will explain. So I'm going to click on the edit button again, but this time, so this is what I was talking about. The template, we requested a template from Canvas, and then I modified it for extension. So they had some language in here. In sometimes when you start to work on something, it will be Greeked out, you know, Loris ipsum, da 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 da, just dummy text, or might say, to populate your syllabus, da, 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 please delete that. That is not for students. You need a student-ready course, okay? If there's some mysterious thing that you're seeing, either delete it or contact us and say, ugh, can I delete this? I'm not sure. Because we've had some teachers that don't delete the little boilerplate stuff. Okay. Now we're going to add our syllabus. So imagine that your syllabus is in Word or PDF. Those are the most common, Adobe Acrobat. Those are desktop applications, so we know we are going to put it in files so Canvas can display it. So we write some linking text such as, click here to download syllabus. We highlight it with the mouse. We go over to files on the right. I call this baby files. Do not go to mommy files on the left. This one on the right integrates with this content editor. Remember I told you, this is going to be your friends here, all these little icons. So I'm going to click on baby files. Move you guys out of my way. I'm going to upload a file. We know it's on the hard drive. It's a desktop application. I choose file. There's quite a few clicks. This is in your training. Okay. I'm just going to find a document here. This looks good. I can double click on it. And then I click on upload. And then oddly enough, it turns yellow. This little guy turns yellow. And then we always click on the yellow button to save. It's called, it says update syllabus, it says update, but it's the save button. Now for the student, if they click on the underlined text, which means a link, it will download, you'll see it to the lower right, working here, and it will put it in the download folder in either your PC or Mac, same place, we've tested that. This little icon, if you click on it, will display it on the page, okay? It'll show it actually on the page, all right? All right, the second part of the Canvas syllabus page is the course summary. Let's see. Jeez. So these are all the, okay. So the assignments, when you add a due date, they will display here in order. So this is a good way to kind of check your course. And some students will use this to see what their to-do list is, because it will list everything in order. So what I mean by assignments is your assignments, discussions, quizzes, the things that the student does. If it's just a page, a video, something the student consumes, the syllabus tab does not list it. Okay, let me check my agenda. I'm actually going to go into my sandbox. And you all get a sandbox, and what that is it's a place for you to work. If you want to try something, if you want to start building a course, you know, ahead of time. Okay, let me check my agenda. We've done everything we're supposed to do. Okay, good. Let's talk about modules, and then we will talk about how to create assignments and quizzes in the module. All right, so let's go to modules. So now this is a course that I imported into my sandbox that I was just working on with someone. So we see modules. We see the week 1, week 2, or week modules. If I need to add a new module, I click here. You see the plus module in the upper right. I give it a name, and then I say add module. And module is kind of like a little bucket or a little shelf in a bookshelf. It doesn't really do anything. It's just a nice place to list everything in order. So it's just empty until you put something in it. Let's actually do that. Let's build a module. We'll just call it demo module. When you add something in modules, it goes to the very bottom. So I'm going to scroll down. And this is my demo module. So let's say I want to add an assignment. I'm going to click on the little plus right here. That does not add a module. It adds an item in the module. And hopefully you can see, they changed the look of it a little. It used to have a nice big gray border, but now it's just a little gray. And on your laptop, sometimes it's hard to see. This part is gray. So if we look at, for example, week 10, this gray part is the name of the module. And these, we can tell these are pages because they have a special icon that looks like a page. These are 3 pages in the module. This is a discussion with a little, you know, talking bubbles. This is an assignment. It's a paper with a pencil. And the quiz, for some reason, has a rocket as its icon. Okay, so let's talk about, I'm going to delete this one. That's bothering me. Okay, we added the demo module. Now we want to add an assignment. So we're going to click on this little gray thing in this module, in this little gray area. I click on the little plus sign. And then we're going to add an assignment. I've had a couple people who didn't realize this was a drop down. Okay, so if you don't do anything, if you don't drop it down, you're adding an assignment. So if you want to add something else, make sure you do the drop down. We're going to add an assignment. I'm going to click on new assignment, and we're going to give it a name. Let's see. I always do fruit. I'll do fruit today. Fruit assignment. And you know what I like to do is I'll say week 1 fruit assignment. Because as I showed you, there's different ways you're going to see the assignments. Like you're going to see them under the syllabus tab. You're going to see them in the grade book. It's not a bad idea to label them by the week they occur, because sometimes people will see them out of the context of the module. Or if you refer to, you know, if a student is late and they're asking about some assignment, you know, I think that's a decent way to go, is to refer to them by the week. Okay, we're going to add that item, the fruit assignment, but it's empty. So we have to add information. So we click on it. Okay, now we have to click on this little edit button, and that's pretty consistent. The little pencil icon, we click on it. Okay, now pretty much every time you use any tool, just about. There's 4 things you gotta do. You add a label, you add the description or where's my finger? The description or the body text. There are settings, and then you must save with the yellow button. So those 4 things. You've already added the title. So now what's the fruit assignment? Please describe your favorite fruit. Now, some people have said, well, this is redundant with the syllabus. Yes, it is by design. So sometimes a good thing to do would be to open your syllabus, open your Canvas course, and you can copy. If you have really good descriptions in your syllabus, you're going to copy and paste them, because it's not really a convention in online to like have a student print out a syllabus, you know, tape it to the wall and just kind of work through it. They work in the course. And as you're going to see, the assignments also provide a way for the student to submit due dates and other features. So you need to create assignments to take advantage of these other features. And the really important thing too is the only way to have a gradebook in Canvas. You don't go make a gradebook. You make the gradebook by virtue of making the assignments, discussions, and quizzes. So, okay, so we did our title, we did our description, now we have our settings. We set a point value. The rest of this you can ignore. These 2, please ignore. A lot of times the default settings are fine, okay? Now this part is important. What is your submission type? Since we're talking about online courses, you choose online. And then you have some choices. Most people do file upload because the student is writing a paper or something like that they have to submit. Now, if it's very short, you could choose text entry, and they're going to type on the screen. Okay, but you know how it is. If once it gets to be more than a page, what if they take a break and they come back and, you know, so I'd say if it's a significant piece, I think it's better to do a file upload and they use Microsoft Word or something else. We had one teacher do a really interesting thing with media recordings. And so we started looking at this. This is a teacher that does translations. She came to our Wednesday night presentation of this. And so she wanted people to listen to a recording in English and translate it in Spanish. So she chose media recordings. Remember, this is, how does the student get to me their work? That's the question, submission type. That's what this is, not how do I give it to them, how did they give it to me? So media recording doesn't mean what does the teacher record, it means the student records. If you choose this, the student has this cool little tool where they can make a video or audio recording. So these students could speak into the computer and do a translation. I thought that was a really good use of this tool. Save this one, website URL could be, you say to the student, I want you to go find a TED Talk that tells me something about you or tells me about your mission in life or whatever, right? So this would be if you want the student to submit a website. The last thing you need to do is give a due date. We'll put it here. And let me explain these guys right here. These are 2 other dates available from and until. You do not have to set these. The default is it'll open and close with the duration of the course, with those dates, open and close dates, which is totally fine. If you're carefully opening and closing things, when you open the course, not everything will show. And I think especially as you're learning Canvas and also in support of what's called learner control, we let the student, we have adult learners, right? Let them see everything. They know that they have to go to, boy, you know, I was gonna say their child's going to volleyball camp, but not now, unfortunately. But anyway, I still think it's good to have that open learner control. Don't be opening and closing things. Leave it all open, all published on the start of the course, and the student can manage their own time. They say, oh, I have 10 weeks, I have 2 assignments a week. Okay, I see, I'm gonna be, you know, they can plan better. Okay, now we're gonna always click the yellow button, save. Oops, I didn't do it. We'll do file upload. Blah, 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 save. Okay. And this is similar to how the student will see it. They'll just see the description, but they'll have a submit button, how to submit. All right, let's see what that looks like in our modules. Let's see how we did. I'm gonna go to the bottom, that's where we put it. And it tells me when it's due and that it's worth 10 points. Let's look in our syllabus too. Syllabus. When did I say it was due? There it is. The fruit assignment right here. Okay, so it adds it there. All right, what I'd like to do now is show you how to do a quiz. This is a little bit more complicated. Not terribly complicated, but the thing I like about quizzes is you don't have to grade them. They're automatically graded. And especially in the online space, it's nice to, I like them to check on people's readings. That's one good way to use them. So if you assign readings, you want to make sure they read. You could just even have a few items, 3 to 5 items on the reading, just to make sure students know they're being held to the reading. The quizzes have a point value. You could do it as a pretest. What do they know about this topic before I get into it? You can also do it as a survey where there are no correct answers. It does support that as well. So let's get into doing a quiz.
And while you're getting ready for that, there's 2 questions. I know you're going to cover conferences, Canvas conferences, and sharing documents and displaying documents in Canvas conferences like we do in Zoom, but there is a question specifically about quizzes,
Okay.
which is how do you sounds like how do you essentially reopen a quiz if the due date has passed for a student? Like if a student wants to make up a quiz if the due date has passed.
Well, yeah, you can open it again. So let's get into quizzes. Thank you for the question. So we're going to work in modules, right? Because we almost can think of our work as assembling modules, okay? So let's go back down here. I'm gonna move you guys out of the way. I should keep getting in my way. Okay, we're gonna click on this little gray button, a little plus sign again. We're gonna drop down this time, choose a quiz, a new quiz right here. Doesn't exist yet, and it's gonna be the fruit quiz. We're gonna call it the week 1 fruit quiz, right? We're gonna use that kind of naming. I love when I get assignments from students and they're all called assignment 1. And they don't put their name on it, or they just put their name on it and it doesn't say like which assignment. So that's another thing you can do is ask students to have special naming conventions. So when you download, you can kind of tell. All right, so we called it week 1 fruit quiz. Always click on that yellow button. We're gonna add the item. Shows up at the bottom of modules. It has the rocket icon because it's a quiz. I click on it because it's empty. And I click on the edit button. Now this is the tricky part here, is there are 2 tabs. I've had 1 or 2 people that didn't see the question tab. So the one they call details is pretty much you can put introductory language here, such as this quiz is on chapter 1, or you have 1 hour to complete this quiz, or I don't know, whatever you want to say. You can work with your partner on this quiz, or you leave it blank, whatever you like. It just gives you a place to write something. Okay, this is a drop down. The default is graded quiz. Practice quiz means it doesn't have a point value, so be aware of that. A survey is more of an opinion kind of thing. Let's see. So this has a little bit more settings. The defaults are fine, okay? And you can play with this. You can test this and see what you like. But the default is they get 1 try and all the questions are on the same page. And it will show them the correct answers when they submit. Those are the defaults, okay? Here we see the due date. So to answer the person's question, if you set a due date, you can reset it. In fact, if you don't have an until in there, the student can still see it. The quiz only closes if you set an until date. If you leave that open, they can take it at any time. Canvas will still mark it late after you set the due date, but they can still do it. And you can see when they turned it in. So if you do have a policy of like losing points and deducting points based on the lateness, you can see when they turned it in. you don't have to open and close it, because then you're going to be in a position of having to open it again. Just like assignments, we're going to set a due date. And we are going to save. Now in quizzes, I save twice. I save the first thing, and I'm going to go back and edit again. I just want to make sure I got that first tab. My second tab is where I add a question. I click on New Question. These are the question types that it supports. You see all these types here, matching, essay. I'm going to choose multiple choice. I'm going to type my question. What is the best fruit? Everyone knows that's a banana. Like me and a banana. That's why I like bananas. I actually like them anyway. Okay, I'm going to type in some answers. Orange, banana. And the Minions like bananas. Do you have any Minions fans? They love bananas. Maybe I'm a Minion. Okay. Now, this is goofy because it makes you feel like the first answer must be correct. No, that's not true. If you roll your mouse over the right one, you see the arrow pops up. You click on it, it turns green. Also, if you have fewer than 4 options in a question, you must delete the other one with the trash can. Okay? And then we're going to update the question, right? We have two saves in quizzes. All right, I'm going to publish it too. Now we can preview it right here. So we see, this is what the student will see. What is the best fruit? What if I give the wrong answer? I say orange, I submit. Remember, I'm acting like a student right now. Make sure you scroll down after you submit, because you'll see the nice feedback it gives you. You answered this, correct answer was banana. Any Minions fans? Banana. Actually, I've actually only seen like the shorts, the Minion shorts. They got so popular. I have a little girl, so I watch cartoons. What can I say? Okay, so that's how to do a quiz. What I'd like to do now, let me check my agenda. Oh yeah, we want to talk about conferences and gradebook in the time we have left. So the next 2 topics are sort of more teaching aspects. We're talking about today setting up your course and everything. The way you behave in conferences is a teaching function, the way that you do grading. And I will say this, it's kind of goofy, but conferences, what we've experienced is it's better if you set them up after the class has started. And I know this goes against, I'm trying everyone to finish their classes 2 weeks ahead. But what we found is before the students are let into the course and it's published and it starts, the conference doesn't see them as a member of the course and it doesn't let them in. So sorry about that. Conferences is a tool that was kind of glued onto Canvas. It was not developed by the company Instructure. They purchased it and kind of integrated it. And so we found that funny little thing. So it's better if you set those up after the class has started. Now, I definitely encourage you, notice what I did in modules, because we've been kind of talking about, well, what's the best way to let students know, kind of remind them. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, it's not here. What you can do is something like this. So say for your week, you click on the plus sign and you add a text header. You could say something like, see you in conferences on Friday, April 24 at 6 p.m. Okay, as kind of a reminder, because we keep saying to people, go to modules, go to modules, go to modules, and I can move that up with that little grabber. Okay, and then if you just let them know, or you could say, look at the tabs on the left, and you will see conferences. Now, Daniel and our team has enabled conferences for all the spring courses. If he missed one, if you want to use conferences and you see a little eyeball next to it, we can enable it for you, or you can do it. We'll send you the instructions. They should all be sans eyeball and available to the students. So let's talk about conferences. Now, I will say it does slow down my machine to have Zoom and Canvas and conferences all running at the same time. So I'm not going to do everything. I'm not going to show my video, for example. All right. We're ready to make a conference. So in Canvas, a conference is similar to a Zoom session. They are competitors, okay? It's a virtual session like we are having now. So some of you who are more face-to-face instructors may really enjoy having this time with your students. And we do encourage you to do various things that help bring the students together, whether it's a discussion, a group exercise, or these conferences. So I'm going to click on conferences. And it's a pretty nice, simple interface. I do like that. We're going to click on this plus conference or add conference. You can, again, here say, you know, week 1 session, Friday, April 24 at 6 p.m. Clear as can be. This leave as it is. I don't know that the duration matters. We can have a little buffer. I can record it. The recordings only last 14 days, so be aware of that. You can let your students know that. They only last for 14 days. And this is the thing I was talking about with who is allowed to come in. If I click on this, I'm in my sandbox. So these are all the people I invite. It's really funny. I got a few emails on Thursday. We held this same training Wednesday night. And to demo this feature, I created a conference. So I got an email from Stacy, from Joe. They said, "Oh, we're having a meeting at, you know, Friday at 6 o'clock." I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I was just testing. I was just demoing." So instead, I know I'll invite Daniel. He'll probably understand that. So what I recommend you do, sorry for the banter. When you come in here, I want you to click on this and see who they think all your course members are. If you don't see all your students here, I would not create the conference yet. Once the class starts and your course is published, you should be able to see everyone. You could either invite everyone, or if you really want to be super careful, you can click on everybody, okay? Or, you know, let's see, or remove everybody. So I don't want to send all these guys notices. Okay. I am not inviting all of you. You're not going to be in this session. I'm just going to show it to you. So I click on update. Somebody is sideways. I have a sideways participant. Nidhi? He must be on a phone. Okay. So this is what I made. I'm the host of it. So I click on start, and you'll similarly click on start. Like I said, it's going to run a little slow because I got so many things running. It always asks me what kind of audio. Always say microphone because you're the teacher. You allow the system to use your microphone, and then you'll get this echo test. If you can, I can hear myself talking, so I say yes.
You are currently the only person in this conference.
Okay, and this is kind of a slide. It's sort of ugly, so you can, you know, remove it. I would, similar to Zoom, I would turn on my video if I wanted to. I'm not going to because of the performance issue, so I would turn my video on right here. I can also share right here, share my screen, and I can choose to share what, the thing with sharing is you always open the application first. Open it first, then you click on this and you choose what application. So say you're teaching about Excel. You're in data science, so you're teaching about Excel. This is a great way to teach people about Excel. You open it first. When you click on share screen, it's going to say, what application do you want to share? And then you pick that spreadsheet, okay? Other things you can do is on this little plus icon, you can share your presentation. The difference from that and share screen is that you can operate it, okay? You're not just looking at something, but you can actually operate it. So if I did upload a presentation, okay, I can click here to browse for files. I would choose, for example, a PowerPoint. It does not have to be open. It can just be on your hard drive. And then it will display it, and you can click through it. You can also add a Word document, a graphic, Adobe PDF. So say you want to walk through the syllabus with your students. You can upload it right there. I'm going to close this with this nice little plus. You can also share a video And you can also do a poll, which is like a little mini quiz in your session. But know that because Conferences was kind of glued onto Canvas, the student responses, whether they're correct or not, or whatever they did, does not push to the gradebook. The things you do here do not push to the gradebook, such as student attendance. If you are going to give points for attendance, you need to track it like on a piece of paper, something like that, or screen capture it. And then you need to have a separate Canvas assignment called participation in April 24 session. Or some people have one participation assignment. They keep track of participation externally, and then they add one number at the end. Either way you want to do it, okay? But this doesn't track participation or what they did in polling or anything. But you can record it. So I enabled recording when I created the conference, and then I would click on Start Recording, and it would start to do the recording. Okay, I'll take a little mini break here. Are there any questions in the chat, or does anyone want to ask a question?
Yeah, we got a few questions in.
Sure.
There's just one question since we're on the topic of communication with students. One of the question is, where should the instructor go to send out like mass messages, notifications to the student regarding about an assignment or any kind of announcement?
Yeah, I would use the announcement tool. So I click on it. It's not hard to use. You're going to see that editor again. Let me just check my connection. There we go. Okay. So there's the announcements. I click on the plus announcement. And when I teach online, I do like to use announcements. And remember, you do the 4 things. I make a title, I do the body text, I do any settings, and I always save it. Save, save, save. Okay. There's not a lot of settings in announcements. So yeah, you could say, so it'd be awesome to do a welcome announcement. You could send it before the class starts. Publish your course a week before, for example. Say, hi, my name is Truck, and I'm going to be your teacher, and I love data science because I just find that, quantifying the world is so fascinating, and I hope you will enjoy it, whatever you want to say. And know that this course will have a final paper, but don't worry, I'm going to help you through it. Whatever you want to say, and you're welcome. And then every week you could say, okay, week 2, I have a very important discussion I need you to participate in. And before you do the discussion, yes, you're going to have everything in modules, but if you want a friendly welcome, you can even make a video right here. Click there. Just a sec. You're going to click there, and it will record. I think it's not recording right now because I'm already using my camera for Zoom. Excuse me a second. Just going to rearrange here. So you can make a nice media recording. So the first week you make a nice video, students can see you, etc. Okay. So thanks for.
Excuse me, Ann, when you do an announcement, do students get some kind of a notification that there's an announcement there, or is it up to them to look in Canvas and see if anything is there?
They will get a notification, but let me show you. I recommend you tell your students about this feature. The students have the same menu here. You will not have admin. I have that because of my role, but you will not have that. But they'll have this little button. They click on notifications. Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't save my announcement. This screen is very busy, but once you get it, you get it. So, course activities. These are all the things that you could get notifications on. So look at here, announcement. So what do all these little gobbledygook mean? Here's your key. Notify me right away is a check mark. Daily, weekly, do not send. And when you turn it green, that's the setting. I would recommend you tell your students, I want you to go in here and click this, okay? And let me tell you another little trick. This little question mark icon is to help. See that? Everyone has it. Students have the same one. You can go like this. Search the Canvas guides. And you can type in something like here. There we go. Look for the magnifying glass. And I'm going to say, how do I use announcements? You can share these guides with the students. Look at that. Thank you, God. Right there. I click on it. I save this URL. and then I can send it to students. Or how do I set my notifications? There's probably a little article. See, these are short articles with nice pictures. You can share that with students if they have a question. In your modules, I'm going to go back to Canvas. In your modules, I'm going to shut this, go to modules. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not in a course anymore. Whereas I was in my sandbox. Okay, when I click on modules, another thing you can let students know about is there's this support module. The first one is for you. You do not publish it. The second one is for students. You can also point them here, and it has a lot of videos and short articles to help them with Canvas. You could do a Canvas conference session right away, show them your syllabus, show them around Canvas, show them where the help is. That would be nice. Are there any other questions, Chuck?
Yeah, since we're talking about conferences, the Canvas conferences feature, is it the same as Zoom where when you're in the blue button, you're able to see all the students as you were in Zoom?
Yeah, you can see all the participants, and it also has a chat just like Zoom does. Like when you guys did the chat, it has it. So on the left side is the participants.
One other thing regarding announcement for the classroom, are you able to put the announcement in the module, or is it better just to keep it separately? What's the ideal way of creating announcement?
Well, in order to, so let's look and see what Canvas thinks is a good thing to do. So say I'm in my little demo module down here. I use my procedure. I click on the gray button, and let's see if announcements shows up. Announcements doesn't show up, okay? But all is not lost. What if I do this? I say, I want you to look at the announcements. You could capture this, copy this, okay? And ask them to look at the announcements for the week. And if you label them nice and neatly, week 1, week 2, or if I go into that announcement, I could copy this, Control C, go to my module. I'm a PC user, obviously. I gave the PC command. I go like this, and I say I want to do a URL. Or there's other ways to do it, but this is how I'm going to do it right now. URL, I paste it in. I'm going to say announce. Week 1 announcement. I need to find that yellow button. You guys are in my way again. To move the other way. Look for my yellow button. Okay, let's see what I did. Drum roll. Never quite done this before. There it is. So you could, to answer your question, you could put the announcement in there. It kind of puts it in a window. Or you could just say, you know, a reminder, kind of like the conferences. Please check your announcement for this week. Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, just one more question. I just want to get to the topic of assignments.
Okay.
If are we able to upload files, let's say, for example, Words, PDF, any sorts of that, and if the students are taking a math lab class, are they able to upload it there, or do they go to a different website regarding that topic?
Can I interject there for a second, please,
Yeah, please.
Chuck? My question, this is my question, and my students do all their work in my math lab.
Okay.
That work does not have to be uploaded into Canvas because it's all in my math lab. I see the scores, and then I enter the scores into their grade book. I used to do it in Moodle.
Okay.
But when you were showing how to set up an assignment, you have to choose a way that they're going to get you that information. But
Okay,
my students don't bring that information in. I don't know what to choose then.
Okay, good question. Let me show you.
Thank you.
Imagine that you set up, we're just going to modify the fruit one. Okay, we're going to pretend this is your math lab. I'm going to edit it. Instead, it's your submission type. You now set it to no submission. It still has a point value.
Right.
It will still, and the student, it'll show the student, you know, you could say, go to math lab, go to week 1, or chapter 1, whatever. You can still put instructions right here, but
Right.
there's no submit button. And you could even
And
say,
then I can manually enter their grades from MathLab into the grade book in Canvas.
absolutely. Yeah, well, I've found that before, or even, you know, I've had people that use publisher resources, and I've had students download from the publisher resource if it creates a report or an assignment or something and upload it into Canvas. So they don't talk to each other unless we really work on that. Okay. If there are people that want them to talk to each other, we can look into that. It's not easy. They call them APIs or apps in Canvas. They call them apps. So if you need that, we can work on it, but
I
think
don't.
your solution is fine. I think your solution's fine. Let's look at the grade book. That's my last topic. Is there another question?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
Hi, I'm Ryan Hogue. I may
Hello,
have,
Ryan.
hello. I may be the outlier here. I'm a high school English teacher, and I'm
Well, you
teaching.
are wearing a tie-dye t-shirt, so you probably are an outlier.
I am. Well, I wear a lot of tie dye. I'm an old hippie. Does it show?
No
That's all
comment.
right. But anyway, I'm doing an advanced placement summer institute, and those have typically been delivered in 4 days in person. Now it's going to be delivered over 4 weeks, but I'm teaching other teachers, so it's very collegial. So like all the stuff about quizzes and all that, I'm not doing any of that. I mean, they're going to have very few assignments. I need to have a lot of discussion with them. I need to be able to put them into groups so that they can work on some projects for part of the time. And this is the first time I'm doing all this. So like in this way.
So Canvas supports groups, groupings for assignments, but you don't have to use that tool. And I say, if you're new to online, you can just, you can put on the home page, hi, these are because we know the home page is just a page, or, wherever you want, you could say, here's the groupings. Group 1 is Mary, John, Bob, What you can do for a place for them to work is in conferences, the students can make a conference, okay? We've tested this, but whoever makes the conference has to start. So you need to kind of give them their instructions. And we know that, as I showed you, if you click on the help icon, in fact, these days, they have this whole thing, conference guides for remote classrooms. They have tons of stuff about their conferences right there. If you want to point your students to that to help them, or copy one particular link, they have a bunch of stuff on conferencing. They've just added that. Okay, right here, I did the help icon. So you can point them to conferences. That's a place to work. But remember, conference has no grading. It's a place to do stuff. If you need them to have a grade, even if it's just to say, submit your notes from your group meeting or whatever it is, or maybe they just do a final assignment, you're going to have to go through that process of the assignment, and they submit something,
A great deal of what I'm going to be doing is having them discuss, and they'll have like a group project that they may present to all of us.
Okay.
But again, I'm doing something where there's going to be like 4 or 5 assignments. Mostly it's like me presenting a lot of information and discussing. So they're my peers rather than my students in a way. It's sort of different.
And then when they present, do you think that would be in the conferencing tool?
Well, I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out, because I need to be able to break them out. So that's part of what I'm being asked to do, is have them work on things together for part of the time. And then we're going to have other parts where we're discussing, and I'll be showing them delivering a lot of content.
So because that media tool, unfortunately now we can't physically get together. That media tool you could actually use to submit a presentation, right? A webcam, like somebody talking, so that just an assignment, and the submission type is media tool, but it would only show one person at a time. That could be good for an individual presentation. You can try that. I would recommend you test it, and then, check in with me if you have questions about it. And if you want to test the conferencing tool, we can do that together. If you want to play with it and practice it, we can do that. Or Truck or Gerardo can get on the line with you. You can set up, people can use the discussion tool, just very informally if you want. People can just call each other and email each other, that's still available to them. But I think the conferencing tool is going to be your best bet for people just to get together and discuss things in those subgroups that you're talking about.
Would it be out of bounds to have them do their own Zooms and have their discussions and then they
No,
report
you can
back?
do that. Yeah, that's a good idea.
That might be a way of doing it because I'm, 'cause I'm like everybody else. The rest of my school year has been canceled, so I'm getting a crash course in trying to learn to. I'm teaching on Zoom right now to my high school students.
Okay, okay.
So
Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to take up too much time, but I'm in
No,
kind
it's
of a
good.
different category, I think, than some of what you're talking about.
No, we actually had a similar question on Wednesday. So people are trying to figure out how to get their people together in groups in some cases. So I'm glad you're doing that, actually. You know, it kind of humanizes it, which is good. But let me get to the grade book. So that's over here on grades. It's a different view for your student, of course, because they only see their own grades. So as I develop my assignments, quizzes, see, I keep getting off camera. Assignments, quizzes, and discussions, those three, assignment, quizzes, discussion, they create a column. So because this is just my junky sandbox, there's lots of stuff in here. My fruit thing should be in here somewhere. Notice if it's not published, it tells you you must publish. You must publish your course, your module, and all the items in the module. So here's my fruit quiz. If I had this is the assignment. After I grade it, it will show up here. And then this is a grouping. Assignments is a grouping. So when we did our template, we just created one grouping called assignments. If you're doing weighted grades, you know, we can help you with that. That's why there are groupings if people want to do weightings. But the basic default is there's one group for assignments called assignments. And then Canvas will, oh, that's weird. I've never seen that happen. It moved it over in the wrong place. Not sure why it did that. The total will be on the far right. So that's why it's so important that you make an assignment for everything. Even if it's something you do within a Canvas conference, or there may be writing things, you know, or something like that, you should still have it, turn it in, create an assignment, turn it in, grade it, so that all the math works out correctly here. And then I want to show you how you can grade. So I would say I go to assignments. Now you can go directly to assignments, right? You're not blocked like the students are. Let's do, I'm not sure if there's any student data in any of these things. I open the assignment, click on Speed Grader on the right, and it will stack up all the assignments in alphabetical order. So this is just a dummy course. It doesn't have a submission, but I can grade her assignment. I'm going to give her 9 points out of 10. I can add a comment, a global comment. I can attach a document such as I can download all their files, mark them up in Word in revision marking, and then re-upload it to each person. Or I can upload a rubric, a reference guide, whatever I want. I can click on this one and I could make a media comment. Again, I think because I'm doing Zoom, it's not showing my camera, my video. So you can make a comment. You can do webcam or mic. You click on start recording. And the last thing is speech to text right there. So I can say, good job, Robin. Thank you for your analysis of math and sharing how you use MATLAB. So, and it will see, it'll put it right in there. If there was an assignment in Word or PDF, you would also see an annotation pencil. Like circle something or highlight it, and it will create a little comment box on the right. And you could do detailed comments throughout their document, and it's saved in Canvas. For me, I've usually done the revision marking in Word. That's kind of more what I'm used to if I want to give very detailed comments throughout. So that's the grade book. That's grading. I know we're at the end of our time, past it a little bit. Are there any other questions?
Yes, I have a question. Do we have control of setting up our grade categories and weights?
Yes. You want to go over that? I don't want to.
Please.
Let's do that real quick. I'm going to click on assignments. That's where you go. Assignments, I think it's slightly confusing. It is a type of tool, and it's also a global word in Canvas to mean any type of assignment, including discussions and quizzes. So we see.
So you're not setting this up, your grade book up under grades, you're setting it up under assignments?
Yeah. As you create the assignments, it makes the grade book.
Right, but how do you set up the categories ahead of time So like their weekly assignments and their tests and things.
Okay, so that you do here. Right now, the default, the only grouping is assignments, but say you have labs. I click on plus assignment and I call it labs. And if some things, I'm sorry, I didn't do that right. Let me do that again. I do add a group. Sorry, I did add an assignment. I'm gonna do labs. And I save. And then everything goes to the bottom. So say, well, say this was a lab. I can drag it into there. Okay. It didn't stick. I drag it into there. If I do weighting, I can say that my labs are worth 20%. I click on the 3 dots, assignment group weights. I click on the check mark and I say the labs are worth whatever I said, 20%. I have 2 assignment groupings. Again, this is just a junky, thing. But then I could say, well, what's left, 40 and 40. So that's how you do weighting. And then whatever the assignments, the point value you say they are, 100 or whatever, they're truly only worth that 20% when put together.
Right. So if you have, let's say, 10 assignments in your labs, so you have 10 different labs, they'll automatically be weighted equally within the lab 20%, no matter how many points you have for each one.
No, as
So-
long as they have equal point value. If you have a 1,000-point lab and a 10-point lab, they'll all be worth 20 in the big picture of the course, but that 1,000 will be worth more than the 10.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Sure. Any other questions?
And so some question would just if a course is already in Moodle, how is it going to get transferred to Canvas? Who's going to do that, and what is the procedure of doing that?
So we are still handling that. We're handling it during the transition year. My hope is that eventually, people will do it, but we just want to make sure it gets done. So one of our team members, Daniel Na, has been working on that. So we've definitely imported all the spring courses. We put the template and then we export from Moodle and put it in. And we take your most recent one. Okay. So an announcement went out saying Moodle is going away. We will still, for this transition year, which started in the fall, be exporting Moodle and importing it into your course. If there's some course that you haven't taught in 2 years or something special that doesn't follow that normal flow, you can email us and we will make sure we take it off for you. But we're not just we're not backing up everything. We're not in any way doing that. We are, as the term comes, we get the most recent one and we put it in that course. If that course is no longer offered, we are not backing it up. So know that, okay?
Just one more question, Ann, regarding about the sandbox. Is that the place where instructor could come in and test out the features and break the system if they want to?
I don't think you can break the system. You can try. I haven't broken it yet, but yes, you can try it. Like we test conferences there, or want to see how a quiz works or something. And some teachers use it to prepare their courses. For example, summer courses are probably not on Canvas yet. So say they want to get ahead or fall course, they can use the sandbox. But please do import the template if you do that in your sandbox and then work on your course. And then you can then import that sandbox course into your real course once the shell is ready.
Regarding online tutorials, where is the place to find those tutorials? Is it in the sandbox or is it in any given template class?
Right there. So when you go to your dashboard, it's Teaching with Canvas at UCR Extension. That's your course for you. Everyone has that. It covers a lot of stuff. And we do require it for online teachers. So we do want you to take it. And we can track who has completed. And we're going to really we'll be putting that in our database of who's been completing. Anything else? No?
Thank you
I just
very
wanted
much.
to make one quick announcement. I'm
Please.
going to include a link right now to a very, very short survey. It's only 3 questions to just get some feedback from you on this webinar experience. We would appreciate you taking just a brief moment to complete that. I'm going to include that link right now, and then you just need to copy and paste it into a browser. It is an anonymous survey.
Okay.
And one more question. Can a non-members be added to a conference?
No. Yeah, Floyd, I just saw that. And then Thank you, Marie. So guys, please go into conferences, excuse me, chat, copy that and paste it into a browser, a new browser tab. And please answer that. Erin Butler, what is your question? You said you had a question.
Yeah, she wanted to know, can we submit a document to an assignment or quiz for a student?
No, the student has to do it. If that's your question. You can't do it on their behalf. They have to do it. If that's the question, I'm not quite sure if that's your question. Okay.
Yeah, she says that's the question. And
And just to explain, the reason that you can't add a quote non-member to a conference is because in order to access the e-learning page and the course itself, the student has to use their NetID and password in order to log in to access that conference. So if you have a scenario where, I don't know, you've got maybe like a guest speaker coming in, you might prefer in that scenario to utilize the extension issued Zoom Pro account that we are distributing as an alternative to the Canvas conferences, so that an outsider could be included in that guest speaker scenario.
And we just want to emphasize too, Zoom and Canvas conferences is just two tools that we're giving you to conduct activities of your class. Just find out which tool works best for your activities and let us know, and we're here to accommodate your needs.
Okay. I'm going to sign off then, unless if there's no more questions. Thank you very much for coming, and let us know if you have any further questions. eLearn help at, here, I'll put it back up. Let me share. There you
Thank you.
go. Is our help email. And so we'll get back to you. eLearn help.
Thank you, Ann. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you guys.
No problem.
I'm going to sign off now.
Okay.